Hello and welcome back to the Colosseum podcast. Today we're discussing the idea of presentism. It is not a term you hear often, but the idea is 100% relevant in society at the moment. For those who don't know, essentially, presentism is a way of looking at and potentially scrutinising historical figures and their actions through the lens of modern ideas and virtues. There are several pros and cons to viewing history in this way, and discuss them with me today are my co-hosts Jack.
Hello, mate.
And Harry.
Hello.
How are you guys today?
I'm
actually feeling quite good for once.
Why?
I'm just energised.
That's not good.
Because I went to bed at like 9:30 last night.
9:30?
I was just like...
I was up late.
That's pretty late for you, not gonna lie.
Shut up.
How's your bedtime, Jack?
No, I thought I would be ready for today because, we're doing quite a lot. I thought, I have to make sure my brain's actually functioning.
Mine never.
Well, that's not gone well, is it?
Yeah, well, normally it's not, but...
Oh, God. Harry, what have you been up to today?
Today, I went to bed at like 3 because I'm a complete moron.
Mate, Jesus Christ.
3? What?
I'm extremely irresponsible.
Were you watching Mandalorian?
I was not watching, but I did watch Mandalorian. Very hyped.
Don't
really
tell me.
good.
Don't
I
tell
was
me.
very
I've not actually
hyped.
watched it.
It's really good.
I vibed with that. Oh, fuck.
Christ. Okay, for people who don't know, Harry's playing Super Mario on the 3DS right now for some reason.
Yeah, because he has
It's
the attention span of like a dead donkey.
It's because I need to distract myself, otherwise I'm just... Oh no, it's fine.
Oh my God.
I'll just annoy myself because
Yeah.
when I listened to the podcast before, I'm pissing myself off. So
Right, well, that's gonna... Yeah, okay, right. Presentism. Let's talk about presentism because that's the topic.
Yeah, so I suggested this one because it's quite... Well, I was going to write an essay on it last year for English, but I decided not to because, first of all, it requires a lot of like looking into, I think. And I think I've done that over the last year and stuff, but it's not like something that necessarily needs to be controversial, which is infuriating to look at because lots of people try to make it out as it, like...
I don't think the thing itself is what people find controversial. I think it's how
they go about
Yeah.
it that makes it quite controversial.
Yeah, so it's
because the idea itself is just like
it's a good way.
it's just how we look.
It's
at
a way of
things.
looking at history, which has like several pros and cons depending on like what you're trying to achieve when you look at history. Because if you want to like learn from history and learn from the mistakes of the past, it's very like useful, and I think we'll discuss that later on.
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult to talk about because you need to be quite careful with what you say sometimes.
I think that's the problem is we're trying to stigmatize it before we even get into it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But looking at history through the lens of modern like ideals and modern virtues is not necessarily... It's dangerous in some senses, but it's not in a lot of senses in the sense that you can like improve the lives of people living in the present by looking at how people have made mistakes in the past and how like their values didn't necessarily align with our values and how that didn't work for them.
Do you think presentism's bad then?
Well, it's not necessarily bad. It depends how you use it and how you view history. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's a bad thing when you start to maybe disregard history due to people like, I don't know. We'll get into some examples because there are many examples.
Yeah, there's loads of examples.
Many examples.
I've got
But as soon as you start to
Don't get count.
as soon as you start to disregard history and the people that have did things, this is not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, but they are fundamental in like our society today, and to ignore them just because they didn't align with how we think today is quite dangerous in my opinion. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, I mean, history, I think now is quite difficult. Do you think it's quite difficult to look back on history and think about it in the way, on the thoughts and ideas back then that it is now?
It's always hard to look at history in a, I don't know, it's not bias, it's more like...
It's hard to look back and only like take away the positives from it.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty much constantly looking back and thinking, well, that was stupid.
You don't
It shouldn't have
necessarily
done that.
want to just take the positive.
No,
you do want to acknowledge the bad things.
But it feels like we just always acknowledge the bad things.
Yeah, and we don't acknowledge necessarily the things they achieved or what they stood for, and that's the dangerous thing.
Yeah, I think sometimes people look back on history and try to kind of get moral superiority kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's easy virtue.
It's
in
quite
in
easy
many
to fall
ways.
into that trap, and I guess students
Hindsight
taking history
is a
know that.
wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
That's very true. That's very true.
Harry with some insight. That is a rare. That's a rare occurrence.
Shut up.
That's
My brain is huge. I don't know what you're talking
It is
about.
huge.
Thank you.
It's not mega mind. It's huge brain.
Oh,
That's what we discussed yesterday.
okay.
Were you there? You weren't there.
No.
We were discussing why is the film Megamind called Megamind instead of Huge Brain.
Because it's mine.
I mean, we went through the reasons why, and you think about a villain being called Huge Brain.
Also think about buying a ticket to go to
Yes, I was
Huge
gonna-
Yeah, that's another thing.
for an hour and a half.
Huge Brain, the cult classic. No,
Classic.
I mean it basically is.
It does sound like a Tommy Wiseau film, doesn't it?
That was a decent. I like the film. I like it.
Yeah.
You're tearing me apart, Huge Brain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jack, what did we say about accents?
I can't.
What do you say about you trying to be funny?
Yes.
I shouldn't even
Stop it.
attempt.
Bad Jack.
Oh my god.
Goodness me. This is exactly what we feared happening, isn't it? Anyway.
Oh my god. Well, do you want to go? Do you want to go straight into it?
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
straight into it. Why not?
Okay. All right. We'll go into the thick of it. All right.
I like the thick of it. It's really funny.
Is that a TV show?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I've
I
never-
think.
You should watch it.
Also, who's
It's
in
like it's all about like politics, but it's
Oh, Finley told me about this.
Yeah,
I think
Finley
Sorry to
probably
name
loves it.
drop.
Who's Finley?
Oh, it's some guy. innit?
just some
Well,
guy.
I don't know who he is, and
He's
that's
my
kind of,
best
kind of
friend.
concerning for me. I don't know who
You
Finley
don't need
is.
to know who Finley
You don't
is.
need-
It's quite hard for me to think about Finley.
His name's not even Finley.
What's his name
It's just a
then?
pseudonym.
Well,
I'm not
just-
telling you his name.
Well, then the whole podcast now I'm going to think about
Lathan.
who Finley is.
Well, that's good. Keep that in your brain.
But the things about presentism.
Well,
It's
get
not
on
about
to it
Finley.
then. Just forget him or her. No,
You did not just kiss my finger.
I literally didn't do anything. We're 2 meters apart. I don't know how I could do that.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You're really hurting the reputation of my
God
show,
damn it.
boys.
Whoa, I think it's gone pretty well. I think that okay, nothing to do with.
But yeah, so basically it's just this like comedy. It's a bit vulgar, but it's really funny. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
sort of they're like
I-
it's like government offices, and then they just sort of
Sounds quite good, actually.
piss about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
It's got
about.
what's his name?
That's a good actor.
Doctor
Oh,
Who.
God.
Oh,
Which one?
No,
There's
Smith.
loads.
the old one.
Oh, Eccleston.
No,
No.
like the new old one.
Peter
The
Capaldi.
Scottish dude.
Peter Capaldi,
Yeah.
that's the one. I was trying to think of it, but I just kept
the
thinking.
new old one.
I-
That wasn't help. Well, he's
That is-
old.
that
That's
is
not old.
helpful.
He's not that old.
Christopher Eccleston is an old doctor. That's like 4.
He's an old doctor, but he's not old.
That's what. Well, there you go. You're ambiguous in what you said. I had no idea what you were saying.
The new old one.
Okay, let's get back to what we were just trying to talk
It's
about.
not
Yeah.
Jodie Foster. She's not like 60
Stop.
years old,
No.
is she?
Oh my god. All right.
I
Okay.
like Jodie Foster.
Okay. Let's talk about the statues in America. That do a
Jodie
big
Whittaker.
thing.
What am I talking about?
talking.
Sorry.
Oh god, this
I feel like I need to correct myself there.
Right, I think we should give you like a talking stick.
Time out.
Should I go play
time
my
out.
DS? Should I go play my DS?
Yeah,
Yeah, just play your DS for like
Okay.
5 minutes.
Go and talk to Mario. Have a fun time.
Who's Mary?
Yeah.
Mario.
That's Finley's mum.
Wait, you were the one that name dropped there. I didn't name drop. Anyway,
Who's Mario?
continue. I said Mario's a fictional Italian plumber.
Are you saying that all people called Mario are fictional Italian?
Shut up,
plumbers?
mate.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I'm related to someone called Mario. He lives in America.
Okay.
Okay.
He's
But how do we just-
he's a dentist or something.
Play your DS.
Sorry, yeah.
Play your DS.
Dentist called Mario in America. Okay. Anyway, yeah. The Black Lives Matter movement happened in America.
Oh, okay.
And there was a big thing about going towards statues and how they kind of represent previous thoughts and ideas and concerns, and they kind of there's a lot of what's it called when you do something, we spray paint on walls.
Vandalism.
Public. That's the one, vandalism.
Thank you.
They vandalised the statues. There was one, I think it was it Christopher Columbus that they they vandalised.
I don't know if that was.
Oh,
Black
there's
Lives
loads
Matter.
of them.
Was that Black Lives Matter? I think that
Yeah, because he was.
Well, no, it started with the Black Lives Matter.
was- Okay.
Yeah, and then it led on to.
I feel like it's important to make the distinction
Yeah.
between the actual
Just-
Black Lives Matter movement the rioters and then the people that started tearing down statues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all very different.
They are different groups.
Yes. It's unfortunate they all got pinned in together, but there you go.
Yes, yeah.
But,
yeah.
They're all trying their best. It's alright.
No, we don't want the looters to try their best.
yeah. Well, not...
If you're going to be good at something...
No.
Continue.
Right, yeah, so that kind of looked quite... Obviously, people judge... They're trying to take down statues for what they stood for. Apparently what they stood for previously. And, I mean, it's quite... Do you think that's a good idea to... Because they want to get rid of the statues. They want to get rid of Christopher Columbus statues and a bunch of other statues.
So
just because
we should probably clarify why this links into the whole presentism idea.
Yes, yeah.
So
I think okay.
This is... You could say this is looking at historical figures and applying modern day ideals and virtues. Which is...
Yeah.
So the reason why people... I'm assuming the reason why they wanted to tear down the Christopher Columbus statue is because...
He was
He came over... He was like the first imperialist, I think.
Yes.
Came over,
that's not really true.
Killed a bunch of people.
That's not true, but he was the first... I don't really know how to explain it.
Well,
he was an imperialist.
He was the first international dickhead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he killed a lot of...
a lot of
indigenous
native
people.
a lot of it was disease, but a lot of it was due to his... And his
a lot of people say
of-
he eradicated a lot of
he eradicated the Arwax. I think it's the Arwax.
Yeah,
I don't
and didn't he
know.
institute racism and stuff like that? He got slavery, sorry.
I'm not sure. I've no idea.
I'm pretty sure he imported
no
quite
idea.
a couple of slaves, but don't fact.
I think he took slaves.
He definitely took
in
on
America.
slaves.
In America, he took the Arwax. That's what he did. He made them indentured
Yes,
servants.
yeah. Well, yeah.
He
let's
wasn't
hope so.
very nice.
No,
That's the crux of it.
He was very nice by today's standards. Now, this is this is discussion, right? I have thought a long time about the statues thing, and I think that most of the time they're right. The people who are tearing down the statues, because
it's hard to argue with. Oh, this person was a massive racist.
Yeah, exactly.
When
So
objectively they just were.
Someone like General Lee. You know who he is?
No.
He was the Civil War commander for the Confederates. And
Which is not the side to be on.
Lots of statues of him.
Yeah.
In the South and America.
Because
he fought for the Confederates. He was a very good general.
He was good at his job.
He stood for the wrong side of history, basically.
Essentially.
And people like
he
that,
lost.
I don't think we should still be celebrating them. If you think of what a statue is, what is a statue? It depends.
It's a commemoration of what they achieved, kind of thing. It's
glorifying them, essentially.
Yeah,
you're literally putting them on a pedestal.
The word statue is like it's like conservatism. It's not the political. It's more like the actual. You're conserving this idea in literally like in marble or whatever.
Yeah, it's in stone.
It's in stone.
But one argument is, I'm not saying this opinion because I don't want to say my opinion. I'm going to say an argument. But one argument is that it's not trying to put racism on a pedestal. It's just showing a part of history that existed in what modern society.
But it's sort of that you are celebrating it a bit.
Well, no,
I don't think you necessarily need to tear down the statues, but you definitely have to acknowledge that they weren't great.
I don't think people are going and celebrating Christopher Columbus at his statue.
They 100% are.
If they are,
they literally have Columbus.
Surely you
Day.
have something else to do.
No, but there's a reason for Columbus. Columbus is a different one. We'll focus on
I think Churchill's a good one to look at.
We'll do that after. We'll focus on the more black and white examples like General Lee and stuff like that. I think you should take that statue down and put it in a museum.
Yeah.
And people can go there.
100% agree with that.
See what...
Because you can't just pretend it didn't happen. You can't just write them off as a huge racist. We don't want to think about them.
Yeah.
But I think you have to sort of educate people onto why they thought the way they did, why they did the things they did.
Yeah.
You can't just write them off.
That's why presentism is quite useful in history, because you can go back and you can compare their values and our values, and you can see where they were wrong, and you can scrutinise where they were wrong. You can say that was bad, and then you can learn from that. And that's like the key benefit, I think, of presentism.
Yeah, I know of one philosopher called Hegel.
Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
He's like the pre-Marx. He is
but
Marx.
One thing he did, he said that... Okay, right. That was so bad.
Pre-work.
Really?
Sorry.
That was so bad. Get back in your DS, man. Put the DS out.
But every time I bring it out, you talk about something I want to chip in on.
Obviously, there are other stories available.
Oh my god.
From pre-work.
Anyway.
The Peacocks is closing.
Is it?
I think it's actually closing.
Oh no.
Well, where's this Peacocks?
In
Shut
up, George.
The retail park.
Where's that?
melon.
Shut up, mate.
People don't know where that is. They'll get confused.
It's just.
We have a peacock.
It's just
where we live.
Innocuous retail park in the middle of nowhere.
Well, they're gonna Google now where the
Innocuous retail park.
Yeah, and where they're gonna close, and they're gonna find us, and they're gonna.
George, it's peacocks, and we're in the middle of a global pandemic. There's probably about 1,000 of them closing.
Mate, they'll have to do some proper serial killer kind of wall thing.
Yeah,
so you just really figure
they'll have the wall going.
They'll have the wall
from
and all the
pins.
strings and all the pins.
If you're doing that, please send me a picture. That'd be so cool.
I actually really want to make one of those.
If
I need an excuse to make.
If someone's
going
to kill us, then at least show us.
Then do that. That would
at least
be
cool.
Why don't you just find like a conspiracy and go on that, and just make a massive wall of loads of
Yeah, but then I can just watch like a YouTube documentary.
Yeah, but they're always not that good.
Oh, I love them.
Is that why you stayed up till 3 a.m?
No. I was doing things.
What were you doing?
What were you doing?
I was making birthday and Christmas presents, George, if you must know.
I think that's BS.
What,
That isn't
3
BS, actually.
I'm not going to ask which.
I went to bed at 3.
So you were up crafting little things for people
Yeah.
up to 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Is this the thing?
No, I just had loads of energy.
Is this the thing you told me about?
What thing?
Well, no, because that's loud.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't do that at
Yeah.
1 in the morning.
I was kind of worried.
Yeah.
I was
What's
questioning.
the thing?
You can't know.
You can't know. You're not allowed to know.
Well, now everyone wants
No,
to know.
nobody's allowed to know.
That's the
All of our
that's the
listeners
special-
I'm
If
going to make
you
a
must
board.
know,
I don't want to know.
Me and Jack are making a mech suit so that we can tear down all of these statues.
Yeah, we're going to make a Master Chief suit.
That's my idea. Well, that's my idea.
I don't think it's your idea.
Anyway, so-
I'm pretty sure you did not come up with Master
Excuse
Chief.
me, I'm pretty sure Bungie contacted me and were like, what's your idea? And I talked to them about Halo.
Did you?
Was it 2001 the first one was released?
Oh,
I don't know.
Back in the glory
That
days. Before we
was
were
such a
born.
good game.
Before we were born.
Well, I started
Back in the
idea.
good old days, before I was born.
Those were the good times.
Ugh.
Anyway, so the
Can you remember? No,
So-
exactly.
if we come back to it's very easy. So we can make the distinction of what. So generally, we think no.
General Lee.
Generally, we go. No, I don't think.
Not generally.
I don't think we should celebrate.
General Lee.
I don't think we should
Not
have a
great
statue of him in the public anymore because he doesn't really. He's not.
You can have it in the public, but you have to have some sort
Well,
of.
I mean, like in the middle of a square,
Yeah.
surrounded by flowers, and it doesn't. It's not compatible with.
Yeah, because you
Modern
are essentially
views.
celebrating.
There's not much what he stands for.
When you make someone into a statue, you're kind of
He was
elevating them to
he was a-
almost
he-
legend status.
He was a military
Legend.
genius. He was a military genius. But apart from that, he doesn't really embody
He
anything.
was good at his job, but his job was doing not nice things.
Yeah.
So you said
So,
No,
and
but-
he was not a nice guy.
Well, yeah. So he wasn't doing nice things, and a lot of people in these statues weren't doing nice things. But the problem I have with people like Lee is that he doesn't really represent anything that's very
That's
good.
good.
That is beneficial to our society.
Unless you
nowadays.
have just a really huge appreciation for military
Confederate
tactics,
soldiers, or that,
then
I think
maybe.
the small minority who do will be really
I,
sad.
Well,
I think the small minority that do will probably be a bit understanding that.
No, there's
Yeah,
the ones
well,
that are going towards that statue,
Yeah,
putting
but
flowers by it.
there are other military leaders.
They have the
who
right
did
to
good
go
things.
to the statue and think about military tactics.
I think about killing
These-
all of those
these
black people
are the
and making
fu-
them into slaves.
These people are the future, right? They will lead us to victory. Where all the tiger bears and the meerkats, they will be there and they will control them because they are military tactics.
Well, I appreciate
all
military
the
history.
meerkats are going to learn from General Lee.
Not General A, no, from the people who learn from General.
Okay.
All right. They're learning. Well, if they're learning from General Lee, surely the meerkats are learning from General Lee.
No, because they're learning from the people who learned from General Lee.
Yeah, but if they're learning from General
But
Lee,
did General Lee learn from someone else?
Okay, yeah. So
but no, because he's an accumulation of other people's knowledge.
Other people.
No, but then you can say that the people learning from General Lee is an accumulation of other people's knowledge. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
See, my bad argument.
I appreciate military history a lot. I don't know if you noticed. That's my thing.
I don't know anything about
I read a lot about military history.
What do you mean, Jack?
Who's Jack?
But I don't think...
Shut up!
Yeah, so... It's I just don't think that he represents him.
He doesn't... There's nothing...
People like him don't really represent anything that is beneficial.
Yeah, there's nothing beneficial from celebrating him.
So...
Whereas,
let's move on to something different.
Well, but can I just
someone like less black and white, Churchill, there are beneficial things there. Also some bad things.
We'll talk about Churchill.
But, do you think all statues then should just, there shouldn't be any statues?
I think there should be statues, but I think they should be updated.
Make them a bit more contemporary.
Yeah.
Take down another statue, put another guy up, and then when that guy becomes controversial, you take that guy down, put another one up. That is just a painful process. That literally leads nothing.
It's about having role models for society.
Yeah, that's true.
And when we have these guys who were kicking about 300 years ago, who did some very questionable things.
Well, who do you
there are things, though, that are timeless, I think, in achievement.
Yeah.
And Gandhi, for instance.
Gandhi.
Gandhi.
Bit racist.
Well,
but
yeah, okay. You can. He did some questionable things.
Yes.
Which could be argued against.
And people, this is what I hate most with presentism and stuff like that. People who maybe, I don't know, the people back in history don't necessarily align with what they think, or normally you just get these resentful, cynical people who'll just dig up dirt on these people.
What's wrong with being resentful and cynical?
That's just called Twitter, Jack. I mean,
cynical.
Speaking of Twitter,
there's nothing good about being resentful ever.
Well, no, I mean, who do you swap the statues out for then?
No, the Gandhi thing. Can we talk about Gandhi for a second, right? Okay, so Gandhi represents something that is transcends. Just
no matter what he actually did, he represents
something that is just
something
that we should hold
non-violence.
He showed that we can rise above conflict and tribalism. Just
like Nelson Mandela, we'll make a statue of him
because Nelson Mandela did a lot of bad things as well. He was part of some
overall.
He was part of some in the government. He was part of some kind of radical terrorist kind of group.
Oh, that's not great.
no, but they're blowing up TV masts and stuff. I can't remember exactly what he did.
Okay, well,
but what he represents something greater than what he.
Well, that just brings it back to the. So you're saying
about the ideas that they represent.
Yeah, so, but most of the statues now have the same idea behind it. But people just look at the bad things and the good things and go, "I'll tear that down because that represents."
Yeah, but when it's a Confederate leader, there's not really any.
Well, no, I don't think you should put Hitler on a pedestal. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Right? George, how dare you?
But I'm just saying that not people like Hitler. That would sound even worse. I'm just saying that.
But Stalin.
Well, no, because if you put up
George,
not Stalin,
unbelievable.
What I'm just saying that. Are you saying that? Because either way, you have to swap out the statues every 10 years.
That's not true.
No,
it's not that.
Well, because every single political figure has probably got a bad side, right?
Well, yeah, but
when the ideas that they stood for change societally, and then we no longer align with them.
Yeah, we shouldn't just keep them up there. You can keep them, put them in a museum. People can go and see them and see, they're part of our history.
Because you can talk about them as long as it's in a setting where they're actually going to learn about them and they'll understand a bit more about the person themselves.
Yeah.
Why don't they just get rid of all statues and put them all in museums anyway?
Well, because
it's good to recognise greatness.
It's important.
Yes, but sure you can recognise
for us to recognise the achievements of.
Okay, first of all, not many people go to museums.
Right? I love museums.
You might love museums. I think most people like museums.
Have you been to the National History Museum?
Yes.
I have.
It's really nice.
They're great.
Most people...
I love museums.
I love them. See, so much learning.
You have to go and make it weird, didn't you?
And dinosaurs.
And dinosaurs.
They've never had a Roman...
Mummy. I love my mummy.
Oh, that's another issue. The fact that we just went over and stole a bunch of people's stuff, and when they asked for it back, we were just like, no.
We won't
get into that.
That's a complete other thing. But there's never been a Roman exhibit.
Oh, that's so sad, Jack. Oh,
they're very important.
Why don't we just put Jack on a statue and say that he just loves Romans?
Statues. Okay, the difference between having like a museum is somewhere you go to learn, it's somewhere you can go and like, and there's not like I don't think there's a biased viewpoint in a museum.
No,
it's just
very
there.
objective.
It's there. You make what you will. In a statue in public, that's suggesting that they are.
Like when you see a statue, you're not thinking, "Oh, I bet they've put that up there to show how bad this person was."
Yeah, I don't think that's.
It's always, "Oh, they must have done something great."
Yeah, see,
and like so. I'll go back to the Confederate one. So, like, imagine you were a black person and you saw a statue of General Lee. You'd be a bit like,
why is he there?
What the like? Come on, what's that about?
Yeah, but
someone who literally fought to make
this
you
is,
like.
This is why presentism is
inferior.
This is why presentism is quite useful, because people back then believed that General Lee did represent a good idea. Mm-hmm. That's why they made a statue of him. And because
his side lost.
No, but I don't know when they made the statues of him. Probably after, but
yeah, that's a bit sketchy.
I don't know.
But then again, so
people down there, they believed he was he represented something good. He represented something that should be looked and admired. Like, but I think as times change, we can change our viewpoints and these kind of things, and that's why it's not necessarily. You don't need to keep these people in like the limelight. You don't need to celebrate them in the way that a statue does, in a square with like the flowers and trees and everything.
But then you get the people who don't want these statues like altered or whatever, because I'm assuming it's because they feel like their history and stuff that they relate to and their whatever
their families, beliefs or whatever,
is being attacked, basically, because they're being told, oh, all of this stuff that your family represented is actually really bad and I hate you.
Yeah, because most statues, probably all of them, at least a small minority of people have conflicting ideas of what that statue
That's obviously
represents.
true, because...
So, is there actually really anything wrong with getting rid of all the statues? Because in any way, in any scenario... people have conflicting views with these statues.
Yeah, but then people still don't want the statues taken down. You've got to come at it in a very non-militant way. And do it as a discussion and not as this is bad, I'm taking it away from you.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Okay, let's say you took down all the statues.
Yeah.
There'd be, that would be...
museums.
Okay. That would be beneficial... in a lot of cases, but also in a lot of cases it wouldn't be, because these statues, I think a lot of them don't, but a lot of them offer like role models, and a lot of them offer like ideas that people should aim towards, and it gives people a lot of purpose. If they can see people just like them, people that are humans, that have achieved these things, or have stood for something like greater than just being like a human, you can aim for that. It gives you a purpose in life, and that's very important.
Statues are very representative of what we value as a society.
Yeah, I think that's what statues should be.
Yeah,
as soon as it doesn't do that,
it's no longer fit for purpose.
Yeah, but this is the difficult thing, because when do you something like Christopher Columbus is more divisive. Mainly because
people sort of see him as this great figure
because he discovered the new land, the new what's it called, the new world.
That's he introduced,
but actually he didn't.
The Vikings. That's like every history nerd like go to a card. Actually, the Vikings discovered America.
We love our historians. I love them anyway. I love our historians.
I don't, because Jack has given them all a bad name.
I'm not a historian.
That's all shit on Jack. Fake facts and his stupid opinions. I'm sick of this podcast already.
Learning.
Okay, Christopher Columbus. See, I'm interested that this whole discussion went straight to statues, but I guess it's probably the most like.
I think when we sort of came up with this, we all sort of wanted to talk about this.
Because
it's probably the most interesting and most.
It's the most provocative example of why presentism is good and bad, I think. So something like Christopher Columbus is contentious. And I can see why. Obviously, everyone can see why.
Yeah.
But what people argue is that he...
What the... What?
I was doing some weird things with my hand. I don't really
know. Just... What? How did you do that?
It's just like you just move your fingers.
He just pointed and like gestured with his hand, but he made it look like a claw. But so he had his pinky and his ring finger crossed, and his index and his middle crossed, and he just like started pointing around with it.
It's like a little laser beam.
What?
It's like a fork. Anyway, right.
So Christopher Columbus,
It's like that's some Doctor Who level shit right there.
I don't feel like it's very hard to talk about him because what he represents was the introduction of Western society to a large section of the world. And Western society...
Well, when you say a large section of the world, it was a section of the world that didn't
West.
really want us to
Well, yeah, that's true.
You got eradicated.
interfere.
But
And then we did anyway.
this is the balancing act here because Western society is I think it's undoubtedly the best system we've thought of.
Yeah.
The whole capitalist free
Well,
market.
it's the one that's worked
it's
so far.
The best system
Yeah.
is not
It's the
perfect.
most
I would say it's the
long-lasting.
best.
and
Our new
It's
system
the
will probably
best.
come up.
It's the best so far.
Yeah, but there
It's-
might be a new
but
one.
it's
no-
not perfect,
It's not
Definitely
perfect.
not
It's
perfect.
definitely not perfect. But compared to anything we've
compared
had
to what we've
before,
we'll take it.
yes. And
What else are we going to do?
what people say is that he was like the
Kill all the world
he was-
leaders. I told you.
No, we're not
I
bombing
told you.
India or anything.
I
We're
didn't
not
say that
doing
we'd bomb India.
what people
Did I?
celebrate.
Fraser, cut that. No, wait, it might. Oh, Christ.
What
Fraser,
people
no.
what people what people appreciate about
Sorry.
This is
I'm
not
doing-
making fun of my
I'm
hand.
go,
I'm doing
go,
Jack's
go,
hand signal. It's
stop.
actually
Oh,
really
hang on.
comfortable. It's
If
actually
we're gonna
really
have
comfortable.
interruptions,
nice.
I need to take my jacket off and put it over my legs and breathe it.
Don't wear shorts like an absolute plonker. That
Yeah,
might be
but
a
I don't
good
like
idea.
jeans.
But okay, so he introduced the idea of the West and
Idea
And he
of the
introduced-
West.
well, the European ideas and
Yeah,
philosophy
continue. I was
to
just making fun.
America.
Jack, I'm
And-
pretty sure they came up with the cardinal directions before that. Don't be ridiculous.
That's just saying like times the concept, something stupid like that as well.
And he laid the foundations. He laid the foundations for the most like fair and equal society we've ever had. But he I don't. The problem with that is I don't think he.
It's not the
necessarily-
most, like...
I think it is.
Where are you going with
it
this?
is.
What
It's
about
okay.
the communist meerkat utopia?
We've never had that before.
But
I'm going
we
with this.
thought of it.
He didn't necessarily. I don't think he necessarily foresaw that happening, but he was responsible for it. So I don't know what my opinion is with having
Yeah.
him up there.
He
What-
caused that,
Yeah,
but he didn't mean for that to
I
happen.
think-
I think he might have a little bit. He wanted the Spanish to have more land, and to Christianity to spread to the New World and stuff like that. But
Bit selfish.
yeah, is it worth? Is it worth?
I think it. And I'm not saying that I agree with his views. I'm saying that I think a statue, and this is an argument, not my opinion. I'm saying that right now. That a statue, it's not. They're not saying. Well, I think it just represents what the thoughts and concerns at that point in time, and it's not telling you. It's not literally showing the world what they should think. It's just the ideas and concerns at that time. I don't think it should necessarily be taken down for those views. I think it should still be kept up, only because it's more of a... It's quite hard to talk about, but it's just a representation of what the thoughts and concerns or values of that time were. I don't think it should be... I don't think the Christopher Columbus...
Yeah, but this goes back to the whole idea of do we still celebrate those ideas? And I think the stat.
No, I don't think we don't need to celebrate them. We just need to learn about them.
But that's what a statue
Yeah.
essentially is, a celebration. It's a
think.
glorification of our past.
Can we
Yeah.
get a fact check on that, please? 'Cause a fact check, not a fact check. A fact check.
I'm a little bit chunky, but I'm not sure
chunky.
fat is the right word.
I mean, I don't think
think
the
we-
definition of a statue is to glorify who's on.
I think that
It's
is.
just to kind of
it
commemorate
is.
and talk about them.
It's like
You would-
commemoration is like.
Think about a statue. If someone gets made into a statue, you're saying that they were better than the average person.
Well,
Because you do get statues that commemorate things. So like the one they have.
Well,
I guess you can. The one they have in.
Well, there's difference
In
between
Germ-
like a statue of a person and a statue commemorating something, because you get all the like World War One and Two commemoration
Yeah,
for
I
like
see.
all of the people that died,
Yeah.
and then you'll get like Nelson's column.
I don't have an opinion on Columbus because that's quite a hard one.
It varies on a case to case basis, Because
It's like-
someone like General Lee,
my-
we're pretty unanimously agreed, not excellent, and we should put that in a museum. But then, like, Christopher Columbus, that's a bit...
But because
You can take positives and negatives away from that.
Well, the statues were made in that point in time because they thought him at that point in time they thought that he was a great person.
At that point in time, but now we have more information,
that's what
and we've
okay,
changed.
Yeah,
so,
but
so I have a
it's
different-
it's
a
a
different-
piece of information that represents what happened then. I don't think it should be taken down because of our modern values. Because
because we didn't have all of the information then, and now we have more information.
But then, so that's
We
what George
can
is saying,
make
though.
a more
but
informed
that-
decision
yeah,
on
but,
whether he's a good person.
I don't think it needs to be something what the statue's good or bad. I think it's just a representation of what.
Okay, so I think we have a different viewpoint of what statue means.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't really. I think you can have that. I think that's maybe part of the problem.
That's probably part of the issue.
It's-
But then, no, because there definitely are still people that will see a statue as a glorification
Yeah.
and still agree with it.
See, the difference I have with Columbus and Lee is that no one really disagreed with Columbus. A lot of people disagreed
Yeah.
with Lee at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think Lee's thing wasn't.
Especially, yeah.
Lee's idea
You
wasn't
have to take into
Lee's
account,
idea-
even at their time, how were they
Yeah, Lee
perceived.
wasn't contemporary. I don't think with the vast majority
Mm-hmm.
because like Europe, Britain had abolished it. Slavery, I think. I think they had abolished it. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
we were before America.
I'm not sure, but the civil. Yeah, it was before. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Britain had abolished it. Most of Europe had moved away from it and started to look at how it was morally like egregious. But
Morally egregious.
yeah, well, it is. But so I don't think Lee's ideas were contemporary. I don't understand
Well,
why.
I'm not-
But Columbus, he was contemporary. Though the ideas of discovery and
Yeah.
exploration were just embedded in European culture,
Which is why
And
he's
not
much
just
more of a
European
clouded
culture.
figure rather than a straight up, no, get it gone.
Yeah, that's presentism. Like, that's what it is. Back then,
You have to consider our present and their present.
yeah, and you can say we can say okay, he was wrong. That's good. We've acknowledged he made a mistake, and we shouldn't repeat those mistakes. When he
Well, no, that's
goes somewhere and then results in like he's like taking murder because he's taking away like the native lands of people.
But in his point in time, it wasn't a mistake to his that point in time.
No,
It-
It was a
Celebrated.
mistake to...
well, no,
kill a bunch
it's
of
not
people.
because technically
thing-
we don't really know
No.
if it's a mistake or not. Let's say
No,
like 1,000
it-
years, our views could
I
change
think
again.
I think we
They
can.
100% went over, saw these people and were
No,
like,
but I think we can.
I'm not saying that slavery is good.
We can
I'm not saying
we
that,
can
but
100%
I'm
say we can 100% say at that time in like 1590. When was Columbus? Can someone look that up? Columbus. When did he go to America? I think it's like late 16th century. But back then, I don't think anyone in like at least in like the sphere of influence with like kings or like courts or anything like that disagreed with. It's 15th century. So 1492. So back then, I don't think.
nobody was
I
like,
think
yeah, we shouldn't kill
Columbus's
these people.
views were contemporary,
Yeah.
and he wasn't really frowned upon. And you can see that because after that, everyone else did it. Britain did it, France did it, everyone else did it. Dutch did it.
Everyone did it.
Yeah. Everyone that had the capability of doing it did it.
Yes.
And there was
That still
Here's-
doesn't make it okay.
no, of course it doesn't. That's it, but we can't just say, "Oh, he was a terrible, terrible person." We can agree
By
that
today's standards, he was. But
yeah. But by then, that's
Yeah.
just dismissing.
Yeah, but that's my argument. Is that the fact that we're literally just disregarding most of what he's done because of his values that were quite coherent in that point in time. I think it's quite ignorant to disregard most of the
We're not
achievements he did. Or what?
disregarding
I'm not
it.
saying
We're
you are.
saying we need to...
I think people do though.
Yeah, but a lot like the
Re-educate.
whole bringing the statues. I'm pretty sure that most people wanting those statues getting pulled down or to get pulled down are quite ignorant in the fact that they think that they are judging his entire lifetime achievements only because of his coherent, his
Contemporary.
yeah, the values and concerns he held then, which were quite coherent around the entire world at that point in time. And to bring it down, or just to kind of undermine his achievements purely because of that fact, I think it's just not. Or one argument says that it should not happen.
But that's not your opinion, is it?
No, it's not. I haven't got an. I
I
have an
think.
opinion.
Oh wait, no.
No one has an opinion here.
I have opinions.
We're not allowed them.
I think we've
No, I have
made
a
our
pretty good
opinions
opinion.
pretty.
Yeah, I have a pretty
clear.
not good. I don't mean good. I mean like I have a pretty
My opinion is the best opinion.
my opinion is is pretty. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm saying it. We should celebrate
Yeah,
things
I'm
that.
stating my opinion and why I think that way.
But I want before we continue any more of the statue talk because that is the most relevant.
We can move on in a bit.
But I want to say like
It's the most feasible to us at
Yeah.
the moment
It's most quite
because
so-
we can see.
as
it.
very
in,
recent, yeah.
because I'm like I want to. I'm not definitely not a historian, but I like look at history a lot. Maybe like
We know.
I read a lot. Especially ancient history, and when I look back, then almost everything they do is reprehensible. I don't think literally everything they do is reprehensible back in like Roman Empire, Egyptians, Britannic, Druid. There's a word for it.
yeah.
Druidic or something. Druidic cults.
Okay, yeah.
Mesopotamians, all that stuff. Everything they did back then was reprehensible by today's standards. Like, apart from there are things like I think the Romans were the first like to introduce kind of a welfare state kind of philosophy to their people. And,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah,
a very
yeah.
big
Okay.
stipulation. It's their people, like because they introduced like grain for everyone, like a free grain dole.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone got bread in the city for free. That's like a baseline thing to help like.
Well,
tackle
even stuff
poverty.
like
But-
waterways and public baths.
yeah,
and
public
stuff.
baths. There's things that they did that were very good. Obviously, but a lot of like basically everything they did was reprehensible with today's standards. But when I look back, then there's a lot of things you can learn from.
Exactly. Yeah. I know.
From the mistake, and I just don't like the idea that we should because like there are a lot of people that just dismiss these people because of their reprehensibility.
Exactly, undermine
which is
these people.
like it's fair enough. You don't want to admire. There are people you can admire. You don't want
But you
to
don't want to admire the aspects of.
the bad
You
things.
just want to admire the achievements and not the person as a whole. That's what I would argue quite a
Yeah.
lot about. Is
So
But
so-
how do you separate that person from their achievements?
Yeah, this is the
That's
important
the
question.
trick.
I have
Yeah.
one of my personal heroes is Cicero, right? He was a statesman and he's considered the best orator of the ancient
is
period, like speaker.
Sticky boy.
That's where you get the word oral, because you're very well acquainted with that, aren't you, Harry?
What?
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 I'd like to get that dig in before we continue.
What?
Why would you say that?
Because
Talking about presentism. You think how it's all oral?
You just start making sex
Oh,
jokes.
God's sakes. Okay.
As soon as he said oral, I knew he was going to do something
because
stupid.
I thought you would know
Because
what the
he
word
would-
orator means because
What?
of that word. It's very. Do you not get that?
Get what? What did he get? What are you talking about?
What?
You speak out your mouth.
You mate is speaking out your ass. What the
I'm just surprised that Harry didn't get that.
What did he?
But what the word
What?
meant. I don't know
Why
why
me?
I had to explain what orator meant to him because I thought you would know what it means.
Mate, Mike Stein.
Why am I being targeted with this?
Well, because you asked what orator meant.
Okay, mate. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, let's bring it back to what you're talking about.
I'm just confused why I didn't know what the word orator meant.
Why
No,
would
it's
I know what that means?
Because it's the same. It's birthed off the same word. It's birthed off that
Okay,
word. And I mean,
oh God.
don't cut that.
Nah, keep it in.
Don't cut it.
Keep it in, Mike. Keep it in.
Keep
Mike.
it in.
We love you, Mike. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Let's.
But so he's the most.
I'm
He was
so
the most
confused.
like famous. He's the best, most eloquent orator of that time.
How was he at
Cicero.
oral though?
And he. and he. The
He
reason
was
why
pretty good at it.
he was amazing. And the
Oh.
reason why.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
was the
God.
reason why
Many
I
satisfied
admire
customers.
him.
Oh, many students.
The reason,
He started this.
the
He
reason
started
why,
this.
okay, the reason why I admire him so much is because at the time, right, right?
You might have so okay. Sorry.
I kind of brought this on myself.
You're like,
Totally did.
But I thought you would know what the word orator means.
no,
What?
Because it's the same bloody word.
Okay, calm down.
Orator and oral.
Yes!
They are. Just the way you said it. Anyway, yeah, talk about
You just
Cicero.
looked at me and you were like,
Talk about Cicero. Let's get
Jesus
back. Let's get
Christ.
away from oral. Let's get away from oral.
Okay, fine. But
I mean, I'm not against it.
Stop. Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, no.
now we just get my thoughts.
We got a
That's
10-minute
alright.
segment of oral.
I don't know what the hell's happening there.
I would like to say I'm not responsible for this one.
Yes, you are. You're egging it on. I made an observation, and you should know what the word meant. I don't know why you didn't. But anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, the reason why I admire him so much is because at the time he was faced by people like Caesar, who was a kind of a
Which one?
monarch, basically, like
which
an
Caesar?
autocrat, Julius.
Oh, I love you.
Oh, the big one.
And he was faced by this strongman mentality, this like one fits all ruler kind of person. And Cicero was like, no, we have to defend the republic and like democracy and stuff like that. And he was offered to join Caesar, and he refused. And
It's his alliance to the Republic, to democracy.
yeah, just like Star Wars.
Anakin!
He's just.
Sorry,
And,
I was going to
but he was offered to join.
Star Wars quoted.
He was offered.
What head?
He,
Sorry.
he was offered to join Caesar and his friends in this like new, autocratic way of.
What's this got to do with
I'm
presentism?
getting
I'm
to
very
there. I'm getting to there. I'm getting to. So
I'm excited for the
I'm
ending.
laying out why he's.
I
why
forgot
I
how
admire
this
him.
started because he went on about oral.
I'm laying out why I admire Cicero because he had a choice of joining something that gave him immediate power and influence, but he refused because he defended the values of the republic and democracy before
okay.
this autocratic thing, and he died for that. He died for that eventually. He got his head cut off.
Okay, so you're saying that
But so that's what I admire about
easier
him
to
because
admire.
he stands for something that is greater than his time. He stands for like just
His overarching principle.
yeah.
is good.
But this is the bad thing. He had slaves, and he was also part.
That
He's
took
also
a
part.
long time. That took a hard time.
He was also part of the most imperialistic nation of
Yeah.
all time, probably. Maybe the British are worse, but
Skull return.
the Romans at that time controlled the Mediterranean basin. The whole they encompassed the whole Mediterranean at that point. They didn't have Britain yet, and they were in the middle of taking France. But at that point, he was part of a reprehensible system, but he stood for something
Greater.
that is.
But even by today's
Even though,
standards,
even though he was part of that, he stood for something that I believe is very admirable. He stood for his own principles. The principles were very, good. They represent what we still value today, democracy, and like giving the power to the republic, and to and I think that's very. So you can see why presentism is dangerous, because people can just dismiss someone like Cicero instantly, and people do.
Yeah.
People dismiss people like Cicero
I know what you mean.
and stuff like that instantly. And there's a lot of things you can learn from that. And I will look at Cicero the same.
it is a funky one though, because good but also bad.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
everyone's good and
just
bad.
Wise was
Thank
Harry
you.
here.
My
I
brain
mean,
Good and bad.
we had
And bad,
we had this
you know?
elegant, intricate story about Cicero, and then we had.
I've good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I think. Harry
I
was
think mine was way more effective.
way more insightful, to be
Thank
honest.
you.
But, okay, yeah, I get what you mean.
So
I get
no,
what you
because
mean.
obviously slavery is like
But you can do that with literally everyone. So like, what's
yeah,
the
that's
point?
what that's that's it can spiral. And in the future, 100 years from now, I don't know, maybe Harry becomes Prime Minister of Britain, right?
No, the global government.
Yeah.
The global government of what the hell, Harry Land.
Everyone will look back
Harry
on
They
me
look back
and
on
say that
Harry,
I'm a
and
massive
they'll
idiot
find
'cause
out
I
that
just
Harry
killed a
used
bunch
to
of,
like, I don't know,
leaders.
Well, I just heard.
well,
Nixon-
Harry used to, I don't know, watch The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian has genocidal thoughts because Yoda eats the eggs.
That's fine.
And Harry will be looked at as a genocidal maniac.
But that was quite epic.
But no, I'll be looked at as a genocidal maniac because I've just killed
Obviously,
all of
that's
the world leaders.
obviously that's
Jesus Christ.
Not because I watched
Obviously,
the TV show.
obviously that's a far-fetched
It's not actually that far-fetched, and that's the
I wrote
that's
about
the
it in my
scary
personal
part.
statement.
No, I mean like the Baby Yoda thing.
Oh.
Being frowned upon
I
because
thought
you
you were
watched the
talking
TV
about
show.
Harry
Obviously, that
bombing
is like that.
I'm not. Where did this come from?
You said it last
Did
week.
I?
Yes.
I thought it was Jack.
No, it was you.
Oh.
You did say that.
No, but I didn't say
Obviously-
specifically just India.
No, you
I said
did.
pretty much everywhere.
But I'd like.
You said no. The two countries, was it Korea and India? Mike, is that Czech? Korea? And you said bomb them.
No, it's China and India.
China and India, and you said bomb them, and I was like, what?
Yeah, but I think in this scenario weren't like America or
let's
Russia
get
already.
Let's get back to. Okay,
I
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna make
I'm
a point,
sorry, yeah, I went on a tangent.
I think there's something like great about and it's kind of like I like this idea that in the future there'll be things that people look back on and think, oh, they were wrong. I think that's good. I mean, talking about us as people, there'll be people 100 years from now will look at us and be like, no, they were wrong. They shouldn't have done that. I think that's very good. I think it's very encouraging, and I don't mind that at all. But as soon as people start disregarding people and their actions and what they stood for, and
Wasn't Christopher Columbus the guy who made the Harry Potter films?
I mean, J.K. Rowling changes it so much. Maybe.
Well, no, not like that Chris Columbus. Like, I'm Googling this.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, let's bring it back. Okay, all right. Let's talk about the subject of history, right? Presentism, when it comes to history, it can sometimes change it to a bit of a social science sometimes as well. Because if you think about it,
well, it's kind of
It is.
yeah,
entirely
but if it's just it would change it. It would change the way that the history is looked at.
Yeah, see?
Quite dramatically, wouldn't it? Presentism.
No,
Well, it does.
Looking.
It's a method at which it's a way of looking at history.
Yes, yeah. Well, do you think that's necessarily? Is it already integrated into history? I didn't.
Well,
take
it's
history,
been
but-
integrated into history for I think forever. It's a new term, but I think it's been
Is it necessarily a good thing for history? Because
for history
But yeah,
itself.
he did make some of the Harry Potter films.
Did he actually?
Yeah. Look,
What
look.
the? Did
One-
he make Home Alone?
And Home Alone. And
Home
Mrs.
Alone.
Doubtfire. And Gremlins.
Yeah, but it's
Gremlins
not.
is a
It's
great-
obviously not the
And
same
the
Christopher
Goonies.
Columbus.
Oh, mate, doesn't Jack?
Oh,
like
and the
big monster?
absolute classic, Pixels.
I hate
That was an
film. That is an
awful film.
absolutely dreadful film.
Although Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. As soon as you get Adam Sandler, that fat guy, who's it called, Kevin James. As soon as you get both of them
Yeah.
together, it's just a terrible film. It's bad. It's
He
true.
did Night in
though.
the Museum.
It's true. It's true.
What about Mall Cop? That was a
He's
great
got you there. He's got you there.
Mall Cop was
Oh my
so
god!
has
good.
got
You're
you
joking,
there.
right? You're joking.
That was a
What?
cinematic
Masterpiece.
masterpiece. Oh my god.
Okay. Well,
Cinematic.
history. Okay, go back to the history thing.
Oh.
So you're saying is it good for history? I think it is good for history, but it
Really?
depends on how you use it. Yeah, well, of course it is, because history. My primary use of history is to learn from it, and it's very like Cicero said something very important.
Do you mean learn from it as in do what they did?
No,
or-
this is what I'm going to get on to. Cicero said, Cicero, one of his, I can't remember his exact quote, but he said, to be ignorant of your past is to remain a child forever. That's
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
which
heard
is
of that.
fine by me.
Which is-
Ignorance is bliss.
it's not. It's
2
fine.
years later.
Bye, Harry.
Right.
So it's very, yeah, it's very good in history because it allows, the whole idea of looking at history through the modern lens is very good for determining what's good and bad. We've discussed this. And it's also useful in, hold on, how do I phrase this?
Well, the difficult thing is that now there's so many different views on what is right and wrong in history now. Because I think before, obviously, but now it's just like the way that history should be, not written, but like remembered,
Portrayed.
should like portrayed. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be from a bias, but it should just be the facts and the figures and what is.
I look
what
at history
happened.
as like a playground for ideas in the sense that you can. No, if you think of it this way, right?
The playground for ideas.
So, maybe not like technological ideas. I'm meaning more like social
Yeah.
and like political ideas. You can look at it. If you look at it completely from an unbiased and just from a purely what history is, leaving it. What are you doing?
Nothing.
I'm trying to think of this properly. You're just doing that.
Yeah, well, you're waffling too much, and now I'm bored. So.
Anyway, so you use history as a metric to determine what ideas are good and bad. Like, was it communists? Communism
bad.
Communism is bad. We can look at history and we can determine that pretty easily. Fascism,
Bad.
imperialism.
Bad.
Good.
George, no.
Oh, sorry.
We just said fascism is good. We have to cut that.
Yeah, that, no.
Do we really?
Imperialism we might be able to allow, but fascism, that's a hard no.
Well.
That's like that meme you said.
What meme?
No,
I'm not a
meme.
paedophile.
What meme?
But
I'm not an imperialist.
I think Sam said it.
But
Yeah, I know. It's just you could use a different example than pedophilia.
but
That was the meme.
I know. Okay, well, anyway.
it's a playground.
I'm
for,
not saying I'm
it's
not
a way to
paedophile,
test
but
ideas, and that's why. And
I'm thinking about
Sorry, Jack,
paedophile
continue.
parts.
and
God damn
presentism
it.
can be used in this process in like shaping our ideas and stuff, and then watch how we should approach the future and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
looking at the past and seeing how they failed and how. But it's bad when you start ignoring the past due to just because of some reprehensible things that they did,
Yeah, it just
and
kind of-
ignoring what those reprehensible things led to, what the good things they did led to, how they were kind of the foundation for how we live today, and how each like civilization throughout history is learning from the past ones. That's kind of how it works. So,
Yeah.
well, apart from the Dark Ages, that's a kind of just a bad
That's
time.
pretty-
Bad
That
time
was
for everybody.
pretty crap
You went
for
from
them.
Romans to witches again. How's that even?
Which is pretty cool.
Which is that's dope.
They had those cool hats.
Or in Arabia, though, they were still going and reading everything, and they were learning, and instead Europe's were all burning
They have
witches.
such a cool sword. I wanted to. Okay,
Oh,
right,
what's
just
it
a
called?
little tangent, right?
the Arabian, the stereotypical Arabian sword.
Oh,
the one they got.
it's
so
a K.
cool.
It's
like
a
a-
K.
It's so cool. I love that.
I wanted to buy.
Do
a
you know that
sword.
show? It's like on Discovery, and it's or something like that. It's like Forge and Fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, I
And they,
love
and
it.
they actually
I love it.
they have
Oh.
like
They
a
made the
sword
sword,
making
yeah.
conversation,
Oh,
like
mate,
sword
no.
competition.
I want to buy a really, really nice sword, but I've been okay. Right, so this is the time I've been past 2 months, right? I've been looking at swords to buy, and I don't really know what kind of sword I want to buy.
I'll make you one.
No,
I'm not making you a sword.
No,
Jesus
I want.
Christ.
So there's like a really okay. Do you guys know what the game For Honor is, right? I think Jack.
Yeah,
knows.
yeah.
So there's this guy in it called the Highlander. He's got a massive sword. I forgot what it's called.
Broadsword.
Possibly. I'm not sure. Either way, I want that sword because it is like the size of our mic sound guy.
Harry's got one of those. You've got one.
I know,
of
but I
those
want
big
like a-
boys.
I
proper-
have a 16th century Tudor tourney sword.
See, I don't know what
That was the
kind of
most
sword I
nerdy
want,
thing you've
though.
ever said. I
It's
appreciate
probably
it.
not.
Because
Yeah, that's true.
I went to Carcassonne one year, right? And
Where, sorry?
Carcassonne is in France.
No, never heard of that.
And they had this
Like that.
really cool sword for like 50
yeah,
euros,
that.
right? And I got 50 euros to
there's
spend, but
one
my
that-
parents didn't let me bring a sword on the plane.
Well, I don't think that's allowed. That's
Exactly, and I just thought, well, if you want to go into politics, why can't you bring a sword on a plane, technically? Because well, why can't you bring a sword? Why can't you why can't you bring a sword on a plane?
If you want to go,
Why
into,
do you think?
if you want to go,
Why can't you bring a sword on a plane?
I guess
Is
in
this-
your hold luggage.
Wait, are you-
in
Yes,
your
exactly.
hold
Are
luggage,
you
I
leading-
guess.
Forget the
are
political
you,
thing.
Are
Let
you
me-
leading on from presentism?
No, I just
No,
I
he's
want
just
to
talking
talk
about swords
Okay,
now.
good. Thank God, because I
No,
thought
I'm
you were.
not talking about presentism.
I don't know how that.
But
Looks.
I just want a sword, and I thought, well,
So you just said if you want to get into politics,
politics.
politics. Sorry, why can't I bring a sword on a plane? How?
If you want to get
Compatible.
political about it,
Why?
why can't I just bring a sword on a plane?
And I did think I was gonna make a
Like,
sword.
what about, like, you can bring bombs on a
I
plane?
bought a helmet on the plane. You can't bring bombs to the plane. That is definitely not something you can do.
Wait, what?
Okay, if you can bring a bomb on a plane, you can definitely bring a sword.
I brought a helmet on a plane.
Yes, but that's different because a sword can kill people. A helmet actually you can kill someone with a helmet.
Probably.
That's pretty cool. If you do. No, it's not cool.
They don't
because
let you
killing's
bring
bad.
on, like,
very
little
bad.
scissors.
But like, if you think about it, if you
To be fair, a broadsword that big is not going to be useful in a tight cabin. I'm not really sure how you're going
well, no, because you could get like if you just like stand up.
Yeah,
you've got,
that's
like, all
what I
the
was
seats,
thinking
you
of,
just
but
go,
that's not what you mean, is it?
like all that. No,
No, well, that's pretty cool as well. The
No,
one
it's
you
got
just
like
had,
a
though, the one
really
you just had.
cool. It's got like an anyway. But no, so I don't even know what sword to get, and I've been looking for one for the past 2 months.
I'm pretty sure.
And I just remembered that story from Carcassonne. I was really sad, and I also wondered why can't you bring a sword on a plane?
I just want to get an arming sword. I want to get, like, a nice arming sword.
You know, an episode we should do.
You mean like that?
We should do
Right.
sword.
Yeah, those
we should
swords are
actually
quite
do
cool,
weapons
yeah.
through time as an episode.
Well, no, because they kind of want to look at them. And
I just
because
wanted
otherwise,
swords.
unless we do like a video podcast,
Swords are cool.
because we can't really talk about swords when
Fine,
no one can see them.
military.
Got a bendy blade.
To change, like, war through time. I think we should do war through time. How war changes.
Why do we do?
It was funky.
Fine.
Then
And
we
it
can
kept
bring
getting
in
funky.
generally.
Oh god. Yeah, let's phone in hotline.
Bring him on the podcast.
Hotline generally, right?
Get him back alive. Bring him on the
Someone
podcast.
get a what called like.
Anyway, there's one more statue
I
we
don't
should
know what it's called.
discuss. I think, and it's the big Winston.
The big Winston.
Okay,
Winsty?
this one
I
is,
think
this
well,
one is very similar to Cicero, in my opinion, in terms of your admiration.
Apart from the fact
he was
a bit racist.
he was a war.
Well, Cicero
he was a war.
Well, yeah.
because he wasn't.
He took slaves, like.
A big thing is that he's not really a good.
At least Winston didn't have slaves. That's a good
Christ's
point.
sake.
That is a good point.
I don't think. Okay, first of all, I'm not. I've read a bit about Churchill. I don't think he wasn't the greatest military tactician. Right. Before we continue, if we look,
I've
no,
no
because
idea.
he's responsible for Gallipoli.
Yes.
You know what Gallipoli is?
No. I don't know.
You don't know what Gallipoli is? Gallipoli.
It's near the Galapagos and Italy.
That's a fact check to who
Gallipoli
never
is-
taken geography in
Yeah.
his life.
So
the first subject I dropped.
Churchill, I can't remember his exact rank, first in Admiralty in World War One, I think. So he was in charge of the Gallipoli landings, which was in Turkey. And the idea was
I was close.
that you were
I mean, he was.
I was
completely,
close.
He was.
completely wrong.
Same circle, same
Italy.
Because the Galapagos is off the coast of Chile and Italy's in the
Yeah.
Mediterranean.
Chile's
It's
really
between Italy and the Galapagos.
That's actually
Well,
really.
you can
true.
see anything for you go, what are we around the world? It's the same bloody
But
thing,
he's
innit?
still right, isn't he?
Oh, shut up, man.
Thank you,
it's
George.
just subjective. Anyway, yeah.
The maps are subjective, Jack.
Oh,
Don't
yes.
you know?
We're getting onto maps in the next episode.
It's because
But,
they're 2D.
Are we?
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
jeez.
It's a story about maps.
Why the? Okay.
Atlas. Anyway.
What are you talking about?
Oh god, you've made me forgot.
You were
He
talking
was in,
about.
so he was in
Turkey.
charge of the
Yeah,
Gallipoli
yeah,
landings.
yeah.
He was a massive failure. He failed miserably. Everyone died. And also, he sent a lot of foreign troops, so Australians, New Zealand,
That's
a lot of Indians.
Yeah, but didn't they only make him prime minister because he was sort of a middle ground?
We'll discuss. We'll get onto this. This is World War One. So that was a terrible catastrophe for the British and the Allies, Gallipoli. Bad, and that's frowned upon because he used a lot of foreign troops as well, instead of British, and it was just bad all round. Then he was kind of I'm not sure what he did between wars. I don't think he was he was just kind of like a cabinet on and off kind of cabinet
Didn't he
minister.
just, like, did he have a dog?
Probably, yeah.
Because
Didn't he love animals?
I don't know.
I swear that's the
burn them,
thing.
so I don't even know if anyone does love animals.
So then Churchill in World War Two.
George, we talked about this.
Sorry,
And
I just really. It's just. Sorry.
In World War
continue.
Two, like Britain was, and the Western world were the faced with like probably the most evil. I don't know how.
See how in the last episode you were talking too fast?
Too slow now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's like, but Hitler, right, was probably the most evil.
Wait, we got from Churchill to Hitler. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, they're
Okay,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
linked.
yeah.
I know,
George.
but I thought you were talking for
So
the.
I'm in World War Two. Britain and the West were faced with probably the most evil. Probably the. I look at him as like a weird like.
We could have done pretty much anything and we still wouldn't have looked like the bad guys.
Yeah, basically we could. No, actually, no, that's not true. But no, it is true because it's.
As long as
we'll
it
get
wasn't
onto-
also a
yeah,
genocide
so
of a
we'll get
certain
onto-
race.
What if we just did it at a smaller rate?
Well,
So we did it less
George,
off-
stop talking about
bad,
genocide.
bad.
But
That's just an
We
argument.
know
in my
your
opinion.
views on fascism. We don't want to hear
so
it.
they're fake, and then Neville Chamberlain.
He's writing that down. He's going to censor that.
I think it should be kept in for historical
Anyway,
value.
Neville Chamberlain was the Prime Minister of the UK at that point, and you can't blame him for his approach because Hitler was a
Yeah,
new animal.
it's like, hey,
Hitler was a new
sign this
animal.
and then we won't.
And he was like,
fight,
okay,
and then
appeasement.
he's
We'll
like,
just
okay.
try and stay away from war because they just come out of World War One. It was miserable. World War One was dreadful. It was just bad for everybody.
Yeah,
It
after
really
like
hurt,
a
it hurt
year,
the
everyone
British.
was like, yeah, I've had nothing.
It hurt the British and the French an astronomical amount. It was that's the collapse of the empire can be probably related to World War One. And
Well, yeah, because as soon as we were like, do you want to come fight for us? Everyone was like, dickheads.
yeah, no, it's more like so much money was shoved into that war
yeah,
and it was wasted.
Right, let's head back to
But it won't, so Hitler was a kind of a new animal in like that contemporary sphere. He was a new animal. There wasn't many people like him that had the power that he did.
Are
at
you
that
saying
time.
Hitler was built different?
No.
Bruh.
There's something terrifying about Hitler as well.
Terrifying.
But we won't discuss this
Yeah.
episode.
There's many things terrifying about that man.
No, but something extremely terrifying.
How?
Well, like,
I know
how
what
do
that. You know what's really terrifying? How many times he showered? What was it?
Yeah, no, but there's a reason for that.
I know.
You told me. I think
We'll
I told
talk
you.
about Hitler in another.
We're going to do
episode.
Hitler one day because he is way more evil than you think. Way more
Yeah,
evil than you
how
think.
does like a human being get to the point where they just have like that much?
No, I'll give you an
hate
example.
and
I'll give you an example. He was so
wickedness?
resentful. He didn't even really believe in the doctrine he was espousing onto the German people. Because if he did, because he was saying we can be the Third Reich, we can be the ultimate race for 1,000 years, but he had.
If you were looking for global domination, you'd aim a bit higher than 1,000 years.
Yeah,
surely.
but 1,000 years is a long time.
Yeah, but
Anyway, it doesn't matter. He didn't even. He had the opportunity to achieve that. Well, give him a better chance of achieving that. But he, instead of doing that, he decided to kill and cull 6 million Jews
that was pretty shitty.
instead of.
That was not Pog.
So there's something,
George.
So instead,
You did not just describe Hitler as not Pog.
So there's something.
right.
There's something deeper about him. There's something deeper than just being this man that wants power. There's something that he was more like a germaphobe, but
People
German
were the
people.
germs.
yeah, foreign people and like people like that weren't. It's damaged. It's really strange.
Big boy racism hours.
It's not even. It's more than racism. It's more. That's why he showered 4 times a day because he was so afraid of like this whole like anything that's foreign to him. It's really scary. It's terrifying.
really-
But anyway,
that's
so we'll go into that more one day. But they're faced with this evil. It's like the worst person.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
In a long time.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, this method's not bad. Churchill was like, okay, we can't just let this man devour Europe. We can't just hand him play pieces and let him keep going and going. We have to stand.
Would not be
We have to. And he's not necessarily a good tactician. He's not necessarily the best prime minister. And he definitely did. He's definitely the best prime minister. And he definitely didn't. He didn't stand for the ideals that we stand for today. But
Yes, yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
what he did was he united the West, united Britain and the Allies, gave them purpose, said that it wasn't.
He was a
doom and
good
gloom.
wartime prime minister.
Yes, exactly. That's very important.
But
And
Yeah.
not a
Well, yeah.
regular
he's
prime
not-
minister.
Yeah, and he gave people purpose, and he stopped the spread of this disease.
Of hate.
Yeah, ironically, because he thought everyone else was a disease, but Hitler was a disease, and he stopped this. He stopped it, and you can. I think the Americans wouldn't really have been able to stop the Nazis if the Soviets and the
God,
British.
the
didn't.
Americans listening to that are not going to enjoy that.
No, they won't. But
God,
that it's just he was so fundamental to the protection of the West and democracy. The most, and people can look back and say he was this, he was that. He was. There's no doubt. Well, there are some doubts about that. He wasn't maybe not as bad as everyone thought he was, but he still did represent bad things, bad viewpoints. But he also was the
He was the way lesser of two evils.
Well, no, he saved. Okay, how about this then? He saved the lesser of two evils. He just saved the Western democracy and free speech from this tyrannical, germophobic psychopath. That's what he did.
When you put it like that,
And we still
it all
live.
sounds
And
so
we
simple.
still live in this society that was predicated. He saved it basically. So, I think there's.
They were sort of a mirror of us, but
Yeah.
a bit more extreme, and then we were like,
So
let's not
this
be
is.
that.
So I want to give you this example, right? One day when we find a better system, hopefully we do, than the one we have right now, Churchill will become less relevant, and you can take. It's like just like I don't know, maybe something like Lee, who represented an old time of thinking, right? People moved on from him. Churchill still represent and still was a savior of what we still like. How our society still functions. He still represents that.
So it'd be more like Columbus.
one day, yeah, kind of accomplishes, one day, no, because Churchill is still contemporary, because he's still, because society is not that different from it. Well, obviously there is differences.
Yes,
There's very
but I know what you mean.
But you could see
So one day-
us
one-
moving on from those sort of figures
exactly.
as
So one
progress.
Yeah, so exactly. So one day, if we find a better system, I'm all for just,
telling him to get.
well, no, they take him down to the museum. But right now, he still represents something that is valuable.
something that we hold.
yeah.
And he's also still a good role model, I think,
yeah.
for like standing up to what you don't believe in.
I think it is important to try and look at the ideas that they stood for rather than
Yeah, but
who they were.
Yeah, well, sometimes their ideas are bad.
Yeah.
and sometimes they do stand for good ideas, but
like not necessarily their ideas, the ideas that they represent.
But sometimes you can get a guy that's like good at one idea but then terrible in the rest, and then sometimes it outweighs. But like, you have to. There are distinctions that can be made.
So we've been talking about this for like over an hour, and we've essentially come to the conclusion that we started with.
Well, no, I'm saying.
Well, there's not a conclusion.
There's not Presentism. You can't really have an opinion.
Yeah, it's just sort of a thing.
Presentism is just an ism. It's an ism.
Yeah, it's an ism. Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just
you can't really go.
It's just a way of looking at history, and it's good and bad. And you just have to make sure that you're responsible with how you use it.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm not determining what is. I'm not saying I'm not determining. I'm not the one that's determining what's responsible and what's not. I'm just saying that you just be careful with how you view history.
Be knowledgeable before you actually make a film.
It's not even that. It's just because you don't want to be knowledgeable because you're trying to learn from it. You just want to be open and you want to not be dismissive you do want to be dismissive of the bad things, but you don't want to just take the bad things. You want to look at the whole picture of history.
You want to see everything.
Yeah. And you can learn from it, and it's very, very important we do.
Well, I think that's it's quite a good episode. I had so many topics to go on about, I had so many, but we got through quite.
I hope it's a good episode.
Yeah, let's hope.
I thought we kind of stayed on one thing a bit too much.
I tried to talk less because I'm very annoying.
No, it's fine. It was more serious than last week. I think.
You can't really be less serious.
That's true. There was no tiger bears, and there was no burning animals.
I may have said some controversial things, which I retract everything I've said.
Do you?
I retract literally everything.
Mr. Fascism.
I'm actually just the moderator.
You might not know. Maybe that was a dreadful episode. I had no idea. I thought it went well. I thought it went fine.
Okay.
And any viewers who have any thoughts on...
Sorry if we offended you. Don't think we did, but
we're not trying to offend.
Sorry.
We're trying to just bring out our opinions and our ideas and just discuss the topic. And there's no like... I think if anyone disagrees, that's perfectly fine. Just let us know. And we don't want to be like polarizing.
Yeah.
We want to discuss the arguments.
Yeah, and maybe they have a really good point that we missed, and we need to talk about it.
We definitely missed.
Oh, we missed so much. We missed a lot.
We missed about 90%.
Our podcast isn't necessarily going in depth. We're just trying to.
We just.
Look
it's
at
just where it goes.
Yeah, where it goes, kind of thing.
So thank you very much for listening to the Colosseum.
Yeah, any suggestions? Let us know. Follow us on everything.
Yeah, we might.
If someone wants to buy us a space heater,
we should get merch.
If someone wants to invest,
but we won't make it like we won't make it our logo.
Views.
Yeah, I'll buy it. Woo. I'll buy the whole stock. No, but we shouldn't make it
40. Oh, we got 40 views.
40 views.
That's not bad,
mate.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
We're halfway there, but 80 views isn't that?
Because we're literally in a garage
on a
cardboard box with two not great microphones.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
they're all right.
They're all right. They're good boys.
Okay, right, yeah, we'll finish the podcast.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for listening to the Colosseum podcast.
Bye-bye.
Please recommend us to anyone you want to.
Rate us 8 stars.
8 stars, 2 4s if you want.
Yeah, 2 accounts. Please make 2 accounts. We need every single.
Or you can do a 5 and a 3.
Oh, that's just so. Oh, I know. Right, just end it there.
End it. Cut it now.
Bye.
Hello listeners, and welcome to my section of the Colosseum podcast. I hope you've enjoyed listening so far. My section of the podcast will include a wee part of philosophy on the subject discussed each week, and will last approximately 6 minutes. So, you'll have to cope and put up with me for those 6 minutes, and hopefully I can entertain you. Today's cast is about presentism. And no, it's not about presents, even if Christmas is just around the corner. Presentism is the tendency to interpret past events in terms of modern values and concepts. Before I start, disclaimer alert, everything discussed in this section will be based from philosophical studies and will not be of my own opinion to result in the most fair analysis of his topics. Jokes might be added with no intent to offend anyone in the past, present, or future. Talking about the past, present, or future, I heard they all walked into a bar last week and things got a little tense. So, let's get into it after that bad joke. As I've already mentioned, presentism is related to the practice of judging historical figures by the moral and ethical standards of the present day. In other words, things that were acceptable in the past which are no longer accepted now. Would we, if we were in a person who lived in the past's shoes, have the same opinions, values, and concepts that we have now? If we could only travel back in time, like the Back to the Future movie. Sadly, this is not the case. Which also reminds me of another joke. If I had a time machine from Back to the Future, I wouldn't drive it much. I'd only drive it from time to time. An interesting debate is, should we judge historical figures by morals of today? And how do we know that in the future the way we live today will be acceptable? Things such as eating meat, driving cars, doing modifications to our body by surgery may be frowned on in the future, which we may never know unless you're immortal or a time traveler. Then you can comment on our Twitter page once you find out. You know, I heard someone found the pool of immortality, but sadly he drowned. We have to take into account the society of that time, which would have had an extremely big impact on opinions of the past. We were not there, so how can we interpret what it would have been like exactly? We can have an educated guess, but we'll never truly know exactly how. Maybe some people disagree with some of the things that happened, but because of this society they lived in at the time, maybe it made more sense. Maybe they felt pressured into believing what they thought was not right, and maybe just went along with it. Let's put ourselves in a scenario. You've been selected for an experiment from a secret company. They have built a machine. This is powered by the best singing computer. Can you guess which one? Adele. The machine allows you to be placed in someone else's shoes from the past, and will allow you to experience their lives at that time. Firstly, you have to make sure those shoes fit you. Think of a person that you would like to be. What their society was like, the food, the culture, the fashion, and the conflicts they faced. You walk about and notice the changes, the quality of life, and how people act around you. Do you think you'd have a better understanding of these people's action? Well, because we have brought our morals with us, we probably still wouldn't agree with the way they lived. Let's change the scenario a bit now, so that we could bring back a person from the past to the present. I'm pretty sure they would be shocked and not approve of many of the things that we nowadays do and question it. You should meet some of my friends and you would understand what I mean by this. Time for another joke. Doctor, I keep seeing the future. When did you see this happen? The doctor says. Next Thursday afternoon, he replies. In conclusion, who's got the right to decide who is right, them or us? Maybe, before we rush to condemn anybody, we should work harder to understand the past and what the situation was like back then before we make our minds up. Also, we should leave everything well written for the future so they can understand us better. I'll leave that for you to reflect. And that's me for now. I hope this has provoked some useful discussion and hopefully did not send you to sleep. I know some people have difficulty sleeping. It's hard to believe. I can do this with my eyes closed. Until next time.